my cross studio. I know, right? Where's Diane and David when you need them? Well, you're stuck with me, I'm afraid. So I just thought we'd do some quite basic stuff just to give you a little introduction into what you're getting with your Wibblers USB, which is super exciting. So I've plugged my USB in. I haven't saved it into my artwork yet. So selected the USB here and World of Wibblers. And we've got our SVG files and our MCS files. So we're going to go into MCS and we want the artwork. So what have we got? We've got Farmyard Wibblers, we've got Whimsical Wibblers, we've got Wibblerzzz, which is the new one. And we've got Woolly Wibblers. So let's have a look at the new one, the Woolly, this one. So you've got scene building, your reflections on there, backgrounds on there, which are fabulous, and your digi-stamps. So let's see what we've got in scene building. Let's have a look. So these are all your little elements that you can then create your fabulous projects with. So tell you what we'll do a little wreath. So I'm going to start with my sunflower and I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to make it smaller still. So what we'll do is we'll do this, and we will also incorporate something for SVG users too. So I'm going to copy and paste it. And I know you don't all have this facility, but if you do, it's worth you seeing it. Right, I'm going to flip that one. So I'm going to right click, go to flip, and flip it horizontally. Right, okay. So as it goes around, it'll work really nicely. So if I now grab both of those, I'm just wondering if I can do what I do with scan and cut. So if I copy and paste that now, copy and paste it. This threw me. So just for people who haven't used Micro Studio very much before, this completely threw me because I couldn't, when I copy and pasted it, when I duplicate something on scan and cut, it moves the shape. It doesn't do it with this. So you just have to know that it's on top of itself. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees like that. So we've now got our quarters, okay? So if I select all of that and group that, and then I copy and paste it. So if I copy and paste that, and then I do that, I am literally winging this here. So whether it works or not, I don't know. 45 degrees. Oh, quite like that. Right, so, okay. So I'm going to grab all of that and go to group, and then I'm going to duplicate that. So I'm going to copy and paste that, and then I'm going to move it 22.5 degrees this time. So I'll have to just go to 22 and then a bit before it gets to 23. Well, have a look. Ooh, there we go. Oh, yeah, it'll do. And then I'm going to send that to the back. So this threw me as well because I couldn't find send to back. So if flip, order, grouping, tile and verse, some of them are at the top like tile, some of them aren't. So if you can't find it on the bar at the top, right click on the shape because it's usually there. So if I right click and order and send to the back, let's have a look. Yeah, that sends it behind, which is quite nice. So if I now, right, I'm going to do it this way. Sorry, my brain has to catch up. My brain has to catch up. So if I copy and paste it again, and this time I go 22 and a bit degrees, 23 degrees. So it's going to subtract it. So 337. 337? Yeah, 337. There we go. And then I send that one to the back. Oh, I love my job. There you go. So you've now got your whole wreath, which is super cool. So if I, let's think about that. Do I want to ungroup it all? Let's ungroup everything, because then I can start to play around with creating decoupage layers, can't I? Or layers. So let's ungroup everything. See what we get. That needs ungrouping. Right, so let's now say that I wanted just that flower and I want to decoupage it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So if I copy and paste it, I'll just do a couple. Otherwise you're going to lose the will to live. So that one there and that one there. Now remember I flipped one of them. So I need to flip this one as well. So if I flip that now and I flip it horizontally, I've now got my 2 decoupage layers. Okay, so I would do 4 of that one and 4 of that one and put them on here. Now what I want to do is, so let's now regroup all that together. Now I've got my individuals. So group. Oh, hello. Don't want to do that. Undo. Hallelujah for undo, eh? I love an undo button. It's great. I just need one for chocolate now and then I'm sorted. Let's group that. Is that no? Oh, I don't want to group. Why is it not doing that? Why will it not group all of it together? I don't know. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Let's add a drop shadow. So let's group. And let's go into here and let's add so go into effects and add a drop shadow. I do like the drop shadow. I think it's a really cool function because it just makes it pop. Look at that, lifts it off the page. Isn't that clever? And then if I click on that layer, let's have a look. Yeah, I can put a drop shadow on that as well. So like that. So I've now got a drop shadow on my wreath, which looks super, super, super cool. Right, so let's go back to files and let's start adding in some of our little wibblers. So I'm going to bring Buzz on. Now Buzz is the web exclusive. Oh, and I don't know why, but for me, he has an Irish accent. I don't know why. Maybe he just reminds me of a little leprechaun. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to send him to the back. So he's now behind the wreath. Let's bring a little friend in. Let's bring in our, oh, that's the back of him. I don't want the back of him. I want the front of him. So let's delete that. Let's bring in, oh, hello. Come on. Oh, he could be flying away, couldn't he? Let's do that. Let's have him flying away. So he's flying out the way. He's getting out the way. There. Let's rotate that a little bit. Where's my other little chap gone? Has he just gone? Did I delete him by mistake? Probably. Probably, knowing me. There he is. Yeah, I think I did. Right, click off it, Melanie. Click on it. There you go. It's learning how all these different little bits of technology work, isn't it? But once you've got it, you lose hours of your life, and we'll have him just flying up there. He's out of here. He is. He's like, I'm over it. Buzz has arrived. Right, let's make him a little bit smaller. I have all these stories going on in my head. I hope you do too, because it is great fun. Let's hang one of these little, wow, home things. He's a bit big. I love this because you can just make it smaller. Now, if you are going to use this with your scan and cut, and you want these bits to be decoupaged, what you must do is copy and paste it. So copy and paste and pull it down here as your decoupage layer, okay? And then you just work your way through and come up with all these different fabulous things. So let's bring, I don't want that one, I want this one. Let's bring this little character in. Oh, that one's going to come at the front like that. That can stay there. But to separate it, I'm going to put a drop shadow on that as well. So let's go to effects. So drop shadow is either like inking around the edge or adding a matte layer. Let's add one onto, so I'd like to put drop shadows on most of it because it separates those layers. And then you can also change the direction of the drop shadow, which is super cool. So instead of having it go in there, I want it on the other side. So I want it between Buzz and that beehive. So if I bring that to the other side, there we go, that separates that out a little bit, and then I might actually send that to the back. So right click, order, and send to the back, so that's behind there. So you then continue to play around. So if you wanted this little chap to be decoupaged as well, you would copy and paste and move that down there. So you've got all your pieces now ready for your decoupage sheet. So if you're just working with your Micro Studio, which is whatever you do, you put a pattern behind it, do all your things, and then you either do it flat or you cut your decoupage out with a pair of scissors. You just print this off now. If you want to do them as decoupage layers, so you would then print this off normally. And the easiest way I found, I'm going to pop him in there because I don't like him over there. The easiest way I found to do it is to turn the whole thing black. So if you select all and group, print that off as it is, then you go to, this is only if you want to create a cutting file for your scan and cut. You then go to brightness, which is here, and you take it right over to the left and it turns the whole thing black. Now, there are different people out there doing it different ways, which is fine. Excuse me. The reason that I do it this way, rather than using image tracing, unless image tracing has improved since I used it, image tracing is all about bringing in nodes. So you have to drag all the lines in to work around the outside or the inside of a picture, which is fine, but it's messy. It's not messy as in glue and glitter. It's just hard work. So the choice is yours. For the sake of a bit of black ink, you can then have a perfect cutting file because you're creating the cutting file from the image. So it has to fit perfectly. So you would then print this off, scan it in to scan to cut data. And once it arrives, once it's recognised it, choose the option which is in the middle, which is either side of every line. And then it will cut round the outside and then it will come in and it will cut on the inside. And it will even try and get that little landlocked area there and that landlocked area there. So it'll cut the whole thing out and then it will also do your decoupage layers. So you don't need to think about your reflections, because if I bring this back over to the middle where it was before, there's your colour. So you print that off and then you scan that printed one off and that creates a perfect cutting line. So once you've created, oh hello, where did that go? Once you've created your cutting file out of black, that's your perfect cutting file. So you're going to scan that in, save it into the machine's memory. You're going to recall that file, select all and group it together so it moves in one piece. Scan in your coloured artwork that you printed off, and then once you can see that coloured artwork, your cutting file will literally land over the top of it. There's no rectangle, but because you've created the cutting file from the image, which is what we do here when we do our reflections, you don't need to even worry about lining it up. It'll just sit in place. And if that wreath matches, all your other pieces will match because it was grouped together when you printed it out. So I hope that makes sense. I like the idea of doing that wreath the way that we do it on a scan and cut. So we'd have a flower there and we'd group them and rotate it like that. That's quite a cool thing to do. So that's an easy way of making a wreath with that. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the shows because they are going to be a lot of fun, I imagine. And I love these Wibblers. They're my favourite ones that we've done so far. And yeah, I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. So I will see you on Friday night at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And on Sunday at 10 and 2. But at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, I'll have matchsticks like that because I've been on air till 10 o'clock the night before. We're launching the new nib for the foiling pen. So a wider nib, a colourer inner a nib, I'm calling it. Or you could do calligraphy with it. So you could find a font in your computer, a calligraphy font, get the whole alphabet on, print it off, put it on your light board with your foil over the top, and then you can go in and practice your calligraphy with our wide nib. Just saying. See you soon. Bye. If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video or click here to see more videos like this one.